The Chicago Bulls in this 2021 offseason have definitely been clear winners. And I don't think none of us saw this coming except maybe Bulls fans. But I think they have a chance to be a dark horse contender. Now, maybe they just missed the playoffs or something because that's what the Bulls have been doing. They always disappoint. But I have a different feeling about this team. So, with them signing Lonzo Ball to a 4-year, $85 million deal, DeMar DeRozan to a 3-year, $85 million, I think, Alex Caruso, paying as a Lakers fan, 4-year, $39 million, and Tony Bradley to a minimum. I really like this team because they have a good blend of offense. Yes, their defense could need work with Zach, DeMar, and Vooch not being the best defenders. But this team is going to be, I think, really good. And why do I say this? So I'm pretty sure a lot of people think that, but just years past, they've had Zach LaVine, who was always a bucket. They traded 2 first-round picks, Wendell Carter, for Nikola Vucevic, and still, they didn't make the playoffs. And the big thing they have done is they got a new general manager. All Bulls fans had a fire, I think his name is Garpax, and then they got the Nuggets assistant GM who drafted Michael Porter Jr., Bol. Now the first thing they did was draft Patrick Williams, which at the time looked really bad, but in hindsight, that was a really good move, and DePaul has been really impressive on both ends, and I think he has a really good future in the NBA. Then they just made some small trades, but this last season was just to evaluate their team. They saw people like Thaddeus Young, Tomas Satoransky, and they knew that they were playing good, but they were probably trade assets and weren't in the future of the team. And they recognized they needed talent, perimeter defense, and playmaker, which they pretty much got in Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and DeMar DeRozan. And I've seen a lot of Bulls fans really wanted Lonzo Ball for a long time. And I have to agree with them. Lonzo is a really good three-point shooter now. He shoots 40% in catch and shoot threes, which I think can be really good, and still shoots 37% in total on 7 attempts a game. And that's really good, especially from what he was in the start of his career. But still, his playmaking is really good and is average, above average in the half court, but in transition, it's amazing. Can't wait to see him throw an alley-oop to Alex Caruso. That would be definitely so hype. But Lonzo, I still think is an amazing fit. Now, he isn't as good as a defender as before when he was pulling most of his effort there when he wasn't doing too much on offense. But with this offensive role expanding, his defense is still good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it isn't elite like it was before. Now, DeMar DeRozan, I think 28 million, I don't really think that was his market. I think they could have maybe put it down to 24 maybe. I don't know. I don't know, because teams like the Lakers, 5 million. The Heat didn't want him anymore. The Mavericks are probably only giving him 15 million. And I think that they could have maybe, it's a little of an overpay, but still, they got a big name in DeMar DeRozan. His playmaking has improved so much over the years, especially in San Antonio. Now, he definitely doesn't have a jump shot yet, but I think that's fine with 4 pretty good shooters, with Vooch being 40%, Patrick Williams 40% on low volume though, Zach LaVine, one of the best shooters in the NBA, and Lonzo being a pretty good 3-point shooter. I think that it will give him room to do that mid-range jump shot, to slash around the rim, get it to the free throw line. And I think that, yes, maybe you want him to not do it as much as he did with the Spurs, because there's more shot creating options like Zach LaVine, Kobe White off the bench, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, but he definitely can still do that. And I think the fit is a little bit awkward, but I still think it's a pretty good fit. And I'm really high on this team, and they still can make more moves. They have Kobe White, who is, I would say, a pretty good asset he has a lot of scoring potential. Now, he's an awful fit with Zach LaVine because Zach LaVine's just a better Kobe White. Maybe Kobe can be there in a couple years, but I think they should try to flip him maybe. Now, I would say that he would be good in that six-man role when Zach is off the floor, being able to flourish off the bench, give you a bucket, have Alex Caruso be that seventh man who will just defend, not take a couple shots a game, just be efficient. And I really like that. Now, maybe Zach is going to play like 35 minutes a night, and you probably don't want Zach and Kobe to play at the same time, and it would technically be wasting his talent to be playing like 13 minutes a night, 15 minutes a night. But I still think that there are options to trade him. There's teams that need a point guard. Maybe, I don't know, just the top of my head. Oh, before it was like the Thunder. Okay, I can't name one off the top of my head, but a lot of teams wouldn't appreciate a scoring point guard. Maybe a team like the Knicks. I mean, I know they got Kemba Walker and they probably don't need him anymore, but maybe 2 weeks ago they would have wanted him. Not anymore though, but I still think that they can keep him, which I think would be fine, but trading him would probably be best. And the free agent and the rights of Lauri Markkanen. Now, Lauri, whatever. He was so good in his rookie season, and Bulls fans loved him. But it was a slow downhill spiral, and now they don't want him. He's not a good fit with Vooch. He is a decent three-point shooter, can't post up, can't do anything off the dribble, and I still think that he can flourish in a team like, I don't know, the Spurs, the Thunder, or something like that, a rebuilding team. But I don't think it's here in Chicago, and I think they should try to sign and trade him for like maybe 2 bench pieces. I heard the Timberwolves wanted him, and maybe they can get just like a backup big or something, or just a wing. Now, they also have Troy Brown Jr., who is a decent player, but isn't really the best shooter. But if they can get like a replacement for him, like for the Lowry trade, a 3 or a 4 who can defend, and I think that defense is going to be, it might be a problem. Now, they can do a lineup of like Lonzo, Zach, DeMar, maybe, because I want it. So the starting lineup will most likely be Lonzo, Zach, DeMar, Patrick Williams, and Vooch. But if you can replace like either Patrick Williams or, because I think Caruso would be a good fit in that lineup, but just 3 guards sometimes isn't the best, even when 2 of them are a lot taller. Maybe that would work, I don't know, but hopefully that. I watched Rusty's video about the Bulls, and I know he's a big Bulls fan, but I agree that he's a big Bulls fan. But I agree that Lonzo and Zach should play together, with DeMar and Vooch playing together more. So when DeMar and Vooch are on the bench, Lonzo and Zach should be on the floor. And I think just vice versa. I agree with that. And I think that this ceiling of this team, it's definitely pretty high, but hopefully their defense doesn't come to bite them. Maybe they might make, I mean, they still have assets to make more trades. I mean, they still have like, okay, they have just a good 7-man rotation right now. And if they trade Lowry for 2 solid bench pieces, that's a really good 9-man rotation. Billy Donovan is still a pretty good coach, was Coach of the Year candidate a couple years ago. He wasn't the best last year. I still think that he was adjusting to a new system. But with another year of Vooch, a full season, Zach getting maybe a little bit better, you have like maybe Kobe, Patrick Williams taking the next step, and the new acquisitions of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan, I think this team can be a really good team. Now, the first goal is to make the playoffs, of course, which I think they will with. I mean, there's still teams like probably teams that'll be better than them are the Bucks, the Sixers, the Nets, maybe the Heat, but there's still, and probably the Hawks, but there's still like 2 playoffs and 2 more teams to play in. So I still think that there are a lot of options that the Bulls can still make the playoffs, and it's very likely with just like middle teams like the Hornets. I mean, maybe the Knicks are a playoff lock, but I can definitely see them being a top 5 seed. But with teams like the play-in tournament people, like the Hornets, I think they got a little bit better. The Pacers, not much better. The Wizards, worse without Russ. I think that they can at least sneak into the play-in tournament, and I think that this Bulls team, I'm pretty high on this team. I think the fit will be really good. Now, maybe they just fall, I don't know, but they still have their pick. And it is kind of concerning that they traded 3 of their first round picks. But I like that with Zach LaVine's free agency looming, I like that they're being aggressive to get more players. And I think this Bulls team, watch out for the Chicago Bulls.